What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the Vince McMahon case closed, WWE scraps a Rock WrestleMania 41 match, things get worse for Hulk Hogan, Alexa Bliss is back, WWE heavily censors Raw on Netflix, a WWF/WCW star passes away, Ric Flair WWE Return, Kelley evacuates LA, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first we look to the Vince McMahon SEC case being closed. At top of today's news is a breaking story concerning the Security and Exchange Commission's investigation into Vince McMahon. CNBC broke the story revealing McMahon has agreed to settle the administrative charges and agreed to pay $400,000 civil penalty and reimburse the WWE $1.33 million after consenting to an order finding that he violated the Securities Exchange Act. McMahon then issued a statement saying, "The case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There's been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading." And McMahon's comments on the speculation was misguided and misleading are kind of ironic, given that the investigation began after McMahon failed to notify the WWE board about the hush money payments he had made. The SEC charged former WWE boss Vince McMahon with violating federal securities laws by failing to inform his pro wrestling company's board of settlement agreements totaling $10.5 million with two women on behalf of himself and the WWE. For those curious about where the problem lay with McMahon's conduct, the SEC said that because the agreements with the women were not recorded, WWE overstated its net income for 2018 about 8% and its 2021 net income about 1.7%. The statement ended with McMahon claiming, "In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put this all behind me." Now, McMahon is still facing a civil lawsuit from Janelle Grant and a civil lawsuit that alleges Vince and Linda McMahon knew about the abuse against his underage ring boys but failed to take appropriate action, so he's not really out of the woods just yet. As for people thinking that a Brock Lesnar return is happening now, it's still not going to happen. Next up, a WrestleMania 41 Rock match scrapped. Now, has WWE scrapped the rumored WrestleMania dream match between The Rock and Cody Rhodes? Well, based on The Rock's apparent babyface turn at Raw's Netflix debut, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted the other big question didn't have an answer, and that's if The Rock will be wrestling on the show. In his interview, he totally blew off the original match with Rhodes. Now, it's worth noting that some fans believe The Rock's apparent babyface turn was a sham, and that his comments that he's 20 steps ahead of everyone mean not to take anything for granted. There are also rumors that suggest Cody Rhodes will defend the WWE Undisputed Championship against John Cena at WrestleMania. Do you think Rock vs Cody really isn't happening? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair's return plans. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair's respective returns are imminent, but which brand will the two future Hall of Famers appear on? During a recent episode of Sportskeeda's Backstage Pad podcast, WrestleVotes revealed we're told both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair's names now officially appear on the current internal active roster once again. As of early this week, we can say that Becky Lynch is set to return on the Raw brand, while Charlotte will make her home on Friday night, so a little status quo there. There's no word on who either superstar will work with upon their return, but rumor has it that both ladies are already booked for an important bouts at WrestleMania. But one person who's about to be back is Alexa Bliss. Now, Lynch and Flair aren't the only top superstars set to return, as WWE is preparing for Alexa Bliss's return. WrestleVotes tweeted about the latest on Bliss, saying the highly anticipated return of Alexa Bliss is on the horizon, according to a well-placed source. Creative is reportedly working her into future plans with merchandise and promotional materials already in development. Wrestling's 5 Feet of Fury has been busy while away from the WWE, with WrestleTalk revealing that Bliss has done voiceover work and that there's more to come. Netflix has announced Alexa Bliss will voice Obiguro in the English dub version of the anime Yuto Suzuki's Sakamoto Days, with Bliss playing the role of Obiguro. Fans have waited for months for Bliss's return, only to be disappointed. Right now, the best thing for her is a surprise Rumble return. Next up, WWE heavily censors Raw on Netflix. It looks like Netflix was busy editing Raw's 6th January episode, as Inside the Ropes reports that roughly 3-hour show was cut down to roughly 2 hours and 20 minutes, including portions edited due to profanity. Among the most notable changes is the removal of all explicit language, including swearing by The Rock and the audience's profane FU solo chants during the ring introductions for the Roman Reigns vs Solo Sikoa match. These edits aim to make the content more suitable for a wider audience. Now, this is no surprise because Triple H has repeatedly stated Raw's content will be the same as it's been on the USA Network. They pointed out that Netflix also cut out commercials for premium subscribers who don't have to sit through ads except for live content. Next up, things have gotten worse for Hulk Hogan. Now, Mark Henry is speaking out on the embarrassing situation Hulk Hogan faced on the 6th January Raw when the fans of the Intuit Dome booed him mercilessly. While there are different theories about why Hogan was booed, Henry believes that Hogan's refusal to address his past racist comments are to blame. But he recently spoke with TMZ Sports about the situation, saying, with the social climate and the things that Hulk said and done and his lack of effort to try and fix it, people are going to come down on it. He never wanted to go forward and fix it. That's what happens when you think everything is going to go away. It's not going to go away. Now, Henry claims he offered to help Hogan after his racist comments surfaced, only for Hogan to reject his help. The world's strongest man, Mark Henry, told TMZ that he wanted to help Hulk Hogan deal with the consequences of the racist remarks that surfaced in the leaked video. I offered to say, hey, let's do a tour of the black colleges, law schools, and explain what happened. He didn't want to do that. Now, while it's worth noting that Hogan addressed his comments in various media interviews and personally apologized to the WWE locker room, some question the sincerity of Hogan's apology, more to the fact that he was sorry that he ever got caught when he was being secretly filmed. At the same time, Hogan has black supporters who feel he's atoned for his disgusting remarks. But there was also Hulk Hogan's reaction to the boos. Now, what was Hulk Hogan's reaction to the barrage of boos he faced at Raw? Well, Fightful Select is reporting that Hogan was quote-unquote surprised and disappointed, but also blew things off backstage. The Fightful report added that the WWE will likely be more mindful of how it uses Hogan down the road. Hopefully that means not at all. Next up, Rollins reveals he was jealous at Rhodes' WrestleMania win. A WrestleMania 42nd night featured an incredible celebration ceremony following Cody Rhodes' undisputed championship win over Roman Reigns. Many WWE superstars joined Cody in the ring to celebrate his epic win. However, Seth Rollins is admitting that he has mixed feelings about Cody's celebration, telling Chris Van Vliet, I've had a different experience watching Cody win the title. I felt joy, probably a little bit of jealousy, but I don't know. I've never really been the guy that's been handed the ball that way. For the last 10 years, it's been Roman for the most part, and then Cody comes back and he kind of gets the treatment as well. Now, we've examined how Rhodes' win was treated as a milestone, something that fans often didn't see during Vince McMahon's time running WWE. Showing baby faces and the champion's family joining him in the ring to celebrate make the win even more special. Rollins explained his mixed feelings about Cody's moment in the sun. I've always felt like I wanted to be that person, and I could be that guy, but it just wasn't for me in the eyes of the people who were making those decisions. So there was this joy and this happiness that we kind of crossed a proverbial finish line, certainly a little bit of professional jealousy as well. What do you guys think about Seth's comments, and are they further evidence of a pending heel turn? Next up, WWE were not aware of Travis Scott smoking a blunt. A Raw 6th January episode is still being discussed for many reasons, including rapper Travis Scott appearing on the show and smoking a joint. However, fans hoping to see more of Scott need not worry about the incident affecting his future in WWE. As WrestleVotes reported, we're told that there's no heat on Travis Scott for lighting up during his entrance with Jey Uso this past Monday night, according to a source. They were unaware that this was going to happen and was in no way approved by the company, but everyone played it off well and the show moved along. The report also notes that WWE is said to have major plans for Scott in the future, and we're told that this did not impact any future initiatives between the parties. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the WWE plans are for Scott and whether the promotion incorporates this awkward moment into any future storylines. Next up, unfortunately sad news as a WWF/WCW star passes away. Now, sad news to report as Territory Era star Black Bart aka Richard Harris has passed away after a bout with cancer. Black Bart's wife Linda informed fans on social media that you might know him as Black Bart, but to me he was husband Ricky. He left us this morning. He was pronounced at 5:26 this morning. He is resting in peace. Now, Sports Illustrated provided background information on his health problems, saying Richard Harris announced his stage 4 cancer diagnosis in 2023, and late last year it was reported by Dutch Mantel on his Storytime podcast that he had stopped with chemotherapy treatment after his medical insurance had run out. Now, Black Bart enjoyed success in the 80s, winning regional titles in several promotions, as well as brief runs as world champion in Fritz von Erich's World Class Wrestling Association. He also wrestled in the WWF and WCW. And we're sending our condolences to Black Bart's friends, family, and many fans. Next up, Ric Flair's WWE Return. Now, while Ric Flair and Hacksaw Jim Duggan headed to this year's Rumble, PW Insider reports that WWE is considering bringing in both Hall of Famers. While the thought of two septuagenarians competing in the Rumble might appeal to the same people who paid to see Ric Flair wrestle in his last match, it's more likely that the two will just make special appearances. The Nature Boy and Hacksaw played an important role in the Rumble's early years, with Duggan winning the inaugural Rumble in '88 and Ric Flair winning in '92. Next up, WWE interested in Malakai Black. Now, as the wrestling world waits to see whether Malakai Black is leaving AEW, fans are still curious whether he could return to WWE. While this was discussed on The Observer, saying there was also talk from WWE that Black was expected there when his contract expires. That's been the case for a while, but evidently there's been talk in WWE creative about him of late. Do you think Black could return to WWE? Now that we're no longer under the leadership of Vince McMahon, could he fare better in the promotion? Next up, Matt Riddle claims TNA owes him money. Riddle, currently working in Major League Wrestling, did TNA a solid when wrestler Trey Miguel was unable to appear at TNA's Turning Point show. Riddle worked alongside Zach Wentz and Kushida to battle Ace Austin and the Hardys. However, Riddle claims he's still waiting to get paid. Riddle discussed the opportunity to work in TNA during a chat with Shaq Wrestling, saying, "I've never done TNA, but I wanted to do that. Can't really pass up an opportunity to wrestle the Hardy Boys. If somebody is hurt or in need and somebody is not going to work right with the show, I'm more than happy to hop in. Plus I got an extra payday, which didn't hurt the weekend. Still waiting on that, but they have a 3-week thing or 2-week thing. I don't know. I kinda like my money up front. They did great. It was a random thing." And Matt's comments on not getting paid yet are unlikely to do many favors with TNA, but the former WWE superstar has never been known for biting his tongue. Riddle noted that TNA's payment system is not instantaneous, so it doesn't sound like Matt got stiffed. Next up, Kelley evacuates LA. Now add WWE interviewer Kelley to the growing list of people affected by the devastating wildfires impacting California. Kelley tweeted, "Friends have lost homes, countless more displaced. Witnessing the LA fires and devastation they're continuing to leave behind is beyond heartbreaking. Just evacuated my own home. I can't even begin to comprehend or put into words this feeling." Now we're sending our thoughts and prayers to the many people impacted by this disaster. But at least the news can end on some good note, as congratulations to Ronda Rousey and Travis Browne. And last but not least, great news to report about Ronda Rousey and her husband Travis Browne, as the couple recently celebrated the birth of their second child. Rowdy Ronda posted the news on Instagram saying, "Our little girl came into this world during a windstorm into a city on fire. So grateful she made it safe and sound." With all due respect, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. But many congratulations to both Ronda and Travis on their new family member. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.